This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. I think this is possibly video 995, I think. 995? Might be 996. Yeah. And Star Trek Discovery. This is a review of Star Trek Discovery. This is the Morton Roadkill episode called Rubicon. Yeah, it isn't really, but it's kind of like something he would have written. This is the one where they Booker and Targa go to the DMA, which sounds DMA makes it sound like it's some sort of like acronym for either a DMV signage or a martial sportiest thing. It just sounds that way. It doesn't sound like anything important. Species C or whatever, 10C or whatever sounds a little too much like Tim C. Tim Kidron. But yeah, so they go there and they have a brinkmanship type thing with Booker's ship. They fight the ship, and then basically Torga activates the device anyway and blows up the DMA, but it reappears later. That's essentially the plot. Yeah, so yeah, it's basically Starcrackers. It's basically the Sphere and Starcrackers. They're both in it. The two ships are fighting each other, and it's very much a Starcrackers story. The villains, although it ends up being more like at the end, more like Wrath of Khan, which they've done before, and that the bad guy actually does detonate something. Yeah. That messes up things. And the conflicted bad guy. And we have the return of the Barzan lady, who's apparently a security chief now, even though she's a lieutenant. We should make her not or something. And she had a mission to the Orion Emerald Chain thing and went badly, and people were killed. But they assigned her to be the liaison on the ship to capture Booker and the other. It didn't really exceptionally work. This episode had a lot of whispering, similar to what they did with some of the Marvel series recently. A lot of them just like talking very softly. Part of the reason for that is, of course, a lot of this was filmed during the pandemic, and so now, so although some of my fan films have touched on the pandemic, they haven't actually gone there completely. The Transformers mush kind of did, and the Chimera thing mentions it offhandedly as another thing that was going on with them. But it's never a main plot point. So here, even though on Trek Core we did reappear and mention that would be a good idea for a Star Trek movie. Maybe it is too soon, and we're not going to do that for a Star Trek movie. But something else with a lesser crew would be cool. Star Trek 14 is on the books now, I guess. But they've said they were doing another one a couple of times. So here we have, I don't know. Here we have, Rubicon, which they don't go into what a Rubicon is, but it's a point of no return. It refers to, it was also referenced in, I believe, Q Who as well. In The Best of Both Worlds in Next Generation, but not here. They didn't explain it here. Usually they do, but they didn't. They did say Point of No Return at one point. Probably would have been a better title. But Rubicon literally refers to the River Rubicon in Italy, the edge of Italy, in Germany, and Austria, and Prussia, and the Rubicon Tyrol area. And so you have Rubicon, the river, and I think it was, what was it, either the 5th or 6th century, maybe it was 500 something. The Roman Empire was besieged by the Visigoths coming over the Third Hill, and the Visigoths crossed the Rubicon, this river, the point of no return, and then that was it. Rome was going to be taken by the Visigoths, the Germanic tribes. That's where Rubicon comes from, and the Franks as well. which became the French and sort of the Normans. The Franks took over for the Normans. The Normans moved. Some of them became the Russians. Some of them became other Scandinavians, the Swedish, the Friesens, the Norwegians. Some of them went up there. Some of them. England was something else. The Anglo-Saxons, they were kind of there, but kind of not. They were not friends with them, really, the Vikings, really. And they've always had kind of an animosity between the French and the English. French took them over, the English took them over, and vice versa, for centuries. And here we have the Rubicon. Here we have an episode where two ships are basically fighting each other, and it's very, very Morton Roadkill kind of idea. Two ships fighting each other. Okay. Where the main bad guy turns around. It's like, it does beg the question in the other story, why didn't they just shoot the bad guy and phaser him and, a Marvel story or something and just knock him out. Capture him. And they almost risked destroying a shuttle when they tried to go after the ship with this weird shuttle plan, and the security thing activated and almost killed them. I didn't think that Booker's ship was big enough to do that they could link a shuttle to it. I thought it was a Transformer ship, of course, but it's using Transformer technology. But there's a wormhole thing, and the new DMA reappears. So it's a sort of some alien mining consortium, which is less reminiscent of Starcrackers, because in Starcrackers it was an alien device used to trap ships and take them to their museum, space museum, and it would trap ships and pull them into hyperships and pull them. Whereas this is a mining ship that's after certain elements. It's different, and they rebuilt it, and so instantly after it blows up, they've rebuilt it. So so it's different enough that I'm not saying Morton Roadkill wrote it. I'm saying it's something he might have written. Because, he obviously, under a pseudonym of Morton Roadkill, I did not write this episode. And Kelly Bullock's, the other pseudonym, did not write. The one with Tilly is a training cadets, but clearly it seemed inspired. I think these guys indirectly read the fanfics. Maybe not ours, maybe some that's similar. And definitely with Lower Decks. So, I'm not sure where my copy of Lower Decks ended up. It's missing. I can't find it. I'll buy another one, I guess. But yeah, it was fine, I guess. It was a better one than the other ones, but it had trouble. Was a lot of it was like they were trying to develop like characters. Apparently, the Vulcan chick wants to date Saru, or the Vulcan president wants to date Saru, or whatever. I was thinking as a joke, what if they do the KSPL story, which they wouldn't know about, in which Culber advises that they do the Vulcan ear licking technique on her, but you look that up if you want to. Out there on the internet, don't. Yes. Vulcan pleasuring techniques. I mean, Vulcan and partly Klingon, I know such things. I wouldn't have done it, but such things. I prefer Umox, the Ferengi version. Anyway. Burnham, her character is still off. She lowers her voice when she wants to sound more dramatic, and it doesn't work. I think it would be better if she just projected and didn't seethe, because it doesn't work when she does it. She like seethes with worry, and then gives you those eyes that don't match what she's feeling. Anyway, So, then of course you got a thing for that book guy. He is one Handsome dude. He might turn a freeze, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, Cisco was a badass, but not so much Berman. But yeah, it's fine then. Yeah, I would prefer that, Space Q Cal would just show up and whisk them back where they're supposed to be in the 2250s, but he won't. Yeah, the DMA. It sounds like, that phrase sounds like the DSA, the Democratic Socialist Alliance, or something, or it sounds like VTA, which is the Valley Transit Authority. It doesn't sound like a cool acronym at all. They should have gone with something other than that. Dark matter anomaly. Well, they go into a dark matter cloud at one point, a hydrogen cloud that you can actually see, which is funny. And you can't see dark. They did this on an early episode of Discovery as well. They had the tardigrade had a dark matter asteroid and it was feeding on it. The dark matter asteroid was literally a dark, dense piece of asteroid. It's gonna fuck up the ship or something, and it'll screw up the ship, And that's not how that works. Dark matter is not literally like a rock that's gravitational. It's not a rock. You can't walk up to it and go, here's a rock I can hold. This rock. And I can hold the dark matter. Yay, here's the dark matter. And I can hold it and it's dense. And that's not what it is. Dark matter is an unknown element that affects like gravity and stuff. You can't see it. It goes through everything. It's like extra dimensional or something. And it goes through everything. And it also affects everything. It's a nuclear gravitational force. We don't know what it is, so you can't visually see it. Dark energy either, which is just the phrase for we don't know what this energy is. We don't know what this phrase is. But in sci-fi, I guess they have to make a version of it to make people see it. But you can't blow up a dark matter cloud. It would do nothing because it would pass right through you like the free radicals. Just go, it's gone. You can't blow up dark. It's not something you can trap and put on the ship like a rock or asteroid or something. If they were talking about neutron star material, they probably don't want to put that on a ship because it would go right through it. Literally, it would break through the hull of the ship and just go toward the intense gravity would rip it apart. Yeah, if they managed to get hold of that. Of course, in the Starcrackers universe, we had a neutron star drive or something. We didn't quite figure that out, and we just made up phrases like inverter pulsator engine thing that Moore got stuck in. I guess he got caught in the reactor, which would have killed him, but he's so big that he just he didn't die. He's just protected from it. Inverter pulsator, I'm assuming, is part of the shielding for the neutron star teaspoonful that's inside the spaceship that fuels the ship, makes it go hyperdrive because it's a freaking teaspoonful of neutron star material. I'm assuming it's a force field that he's standing next to. He got stuck in the force field because he's that awesome. Or that clumsy, I don't know which. Anyway, so this one thing. Yeah, dark matter. In a magnetic bottle. But I hope that the magnetic bottle that's holding the antimatter is strong. Because, electromagnetic bottle. Which they've mentioned in Star Trek on occasion. Should explore the warp drives of various stories that have... Some of them don't make sense. The point singularity drive. Well, the point singularity drive of the pole ships, that's similar to Starcrackers. Then there's the Sparrow engine, which is the one in Maelstrom, which they finally had developed by 2566. They had Sparrow engine. Of course, that is not considered a canon story anymore. It's out there, and we're not going to take it down, but it's not considered canon. Yeah. So we don't know when they developed the Sparrow engine. Yeah. Every decade or so, Maelstrom comes out, and then they declare it isn't canon afterward. Anyway, so here is a discovery. Yeah, Rubicon.